Recording.
Recording. You got a bottle of water.
Bottiglia d'acqua.
Alright, so did you put yourself on silent? Let me
Sure.
put myself on silent. Not that we're very popular, but... And these lights are coming straight on my fucking... it's all good. It's all good. Who cares? Cari amici sportivi, welcome to another edition of Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan. Serie A. Steve, I know it's our second time with YouTube, and I know we're having some sort of lighting issues. It looks like the light of God is coming down. Can you just please tell me what you wear?
It's my Halloween costume.
Okay.
In dedication to Donnarumma.
Okay. Why?
Because he laid a big fat egg against Sampdoria.
But we won.
We'll explain.
Alright, so here we talk everything Milan, Serie A, Europa League, Coppa Italia starting as soon as New Year. Anyway, yes, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
So Steve, it was a bit of a hectic week for Milan, and starting with we're gonna get into the presidential points and was that special effects there?
Special effects.
We're gonna just touch very slightly on Thursday's game. I don't know what came over me. I'm like, I'm gonna leave work a bit earlier. Watch my team, I know it's Real Betis, it should be okay. We need to bounce back from the Inter. Get home, watch it on replay. Steve, do you agree with me? That was the 80 straight minutes before they scored. The most, I don't remember seeing a team that bad. Like, I remember seeing Milan that bad for 80 minutes. It was like, I don't know if you had a chance to catch the game, but I was like, where is this team going?
Oh, I watched the game. Yes, I did.
There was no, and I know you had a little, other than Castillejo showing a bit of grinta with, at the end that red card with, and he knew exactly what he was doing, but he was just showing, he was showing his frustration.
And chapeau to my man. Chapeau.
To who?
Castillejo.
You liked him.
Yeah.
You pronounced his name right too.
Yeah, that's why.
So, but you know what? Maybe our guest might have something to say about the game. We might.
Let's bring him in.
So we have probably the only friend of ours that when you ask him who's his favorite player, Olivier Bierhoff.
Yeah.
I think
you got him laughing.
We got him laughing.
That's good. He's in a good mood.
From he's part of the Serie A sit down.
Yes, with Frank.
With Chicho over there in the US of A, right? And we have, what else can we say about this guy? What's wrong, Steve?
You're spitting.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Richard, I'm going to let him pronounce his last name just in case, we screwed up. Rich, are you there?
I am here.
So,
My last name is Carmen.
Carmen, as in, and everybody deducted that, you're
You
German.
made it seem like as if his name was
maybe
Richard.
Maybe he's got a German pronunciation.
Richard by Kayoko Koko.
But who knows?
His last name is Carmen.
Maybe there's a pronunciation in German, though. I don't want to be I don't want to offend the guy, and he likes Olivier Bierhoff.
Wow.
Anyways, thanks for joining us, Richard. Thanks for your patience as well for tonight. And before we get into Thursday's game, why don't you? This is this time, Steve. Plug yourself. Who are you? Why are you our guest? What is Serie A Sit Down? This is your time to put yourself over.
So who am I? I am the better-looking host of Serie A Sit Down. No offense, Frank.
Nice.
So I am a Milanisti. I remember. I've been a Milan fan since '94. Really, that's when I first saw highlights of Milan over Barcelona in the Champions League. I remember that red and black. It just drew to me. I fell in love right away. I kept up with the team for the next year. I remember them playing against Ajax in the next year's Champions League finals. I know in high school when I joined the junior varsity team, I begged the team, we got to have our colors red and black, and we made our away jersey red and black, and I remember I was the happiest guy in the world. But ever since that 1994 when I saw them, I was a huge fan of Milan, and I've been with them forever. So, so like I said, I'm a co-host of Serie A Sit Down. It's a brainchild of both Frank and I. We started 3 seasons ago. It started really more as, hey, someone asked us, hey, does anybody know anything about Serie A? I want to talk about it. And Frank and I are like, yeah, let's do it. And it's kind of created into this monster ever since. So we've been having a lot of fun here, and as you know, Frank is in Milwaukee, and I'm here in Washington D.C. So we're not exactly in the same studio ever. So, but still, it's a lot of fun to do.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's not like we could talk about, we're not the rival podcasts. We're all part of the same brotherhood.
Spreading the cultural love.
Spreading the cultural love, and I know you guys do it a bit more in, a bit more, yes, in a longer form, but speaks about Serie A in its entirety, and we were their guests there a couple of weeks ago. But now it's going to be our time to poke back fun at Il Presidente, and maybe Richard is going to poke a bit of fun to Frank. Who knows? Who knows? But before we get into the presidential points, Richard, what were your thoughts on Thursday's game?
Yeah, you summed it up pretty well. I knew going into the matchup it was going to be a hard matchup against Real Betis. Real Betis are a strong team. They're obviously a Europa League team. They've done very well against the top teams in La Liga, so I knew it was going to be a challenge. Many people maybe didn't know about that, but I certainly did. I did not expect Milan to be as poor as they were, kind of like what you said. It was just, I've never seen them so bad. It took them 80 minutes before they kicked into gear. Obviously, Patrick Cotrone is the guy who brought him back, but man, it was a lot of hard 80 minutes to watch there. Just struggling and watching Betis just pick apart Milan, if you will, Lo Celso and Sanabria and the rest of the guys. It was hard to watch.
And you know what? Let's be honest, guys. Let's not talk about the what if penalty in this, guys. It could have been 4-0 for Real Betis in the first half.
Oh, guaranteed.
Like it was a horrible display.
We have to stop as Milan fans and Milan continuing to think that we go into games and we will get a result because we're Milan.
That's very well put, actually.
Because we will not get these results. We're not the Milan of old. We can keep that history with us, close to us, but that doesn't exist anymore. In the 90s, late 80s, 90s, 2000s, early 2000s, Milan would go to a match like that, and the other team would fear us. No one fears us anymore.
It's over, and it's Steve, can you draw comparisons to the Montreal Canadiens diehard fans here that have won 24 Stanley Cup and they still talk about legacy, and then like, dude, you guys haven't won since 1993.
Yeah,
like,
living in the past.
Living in the past, and we're the same.
We're the same, and I'm guilty of that too. But enough is enough, guys. And what pissed me off the most about the Real Betis game is that it came after the derby, where we laid a massive egg.
Yeah.
We were terrible in the derby. We did not show any passion, any grinta to come out. Tell me we were playing Real Betis in their home stadium. I would say, you know what? Okay, we didn't come out the first 20 minutes. We didn't play for 80 minutes at the San Siro with our fans sitting in the seat after they witnessed what we did in the derby. For me, it was unacceptable. Thursday, tables were going to break.
Thank God we didn't come over.
I was watching the game. I started watching the game a bit at work, and I feared for my job. I feared for my job because of the profanities that were coming out of my mouth. Just watching this game, I said, I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm still pissed at that game. Yeah, the Sampdoria, we're going to talk about it later, healed a couple of wounds. A couple. I still have some other things that I'd like to talk about. But the Real Betis game, that was the most disgusting 80 minutes that I've seen this team play.
And you know what? Let's go straight in. So, how do we go, guys, from losing to Inter, laying an egg because we played horribly against Inter, laying another big egg here against Real Betis, and all of a sudden, how do we go from there, guys, to, wait a minute, if we win on Wednesday, we're in top 4. Like, battling for top 4. Richard, does this make any sense to you? Is this hiding the fact that we're not, what I'm afraid of is that, let's say we come up with a win against Genoa. Let's say we come up with a win against Udinese. Lazio has another brain fart. Like today, all of a sudden we're in 4th spot. Does this hide the fact that we're still not at the level that we're supposed to be?
It does. I mean, we could be in 4th place, and we know as Milanisti how bad we are compared to the top 3. We know we're not on the same level as Juventus, and obviously Inter just beat us, but Napoli are also on another level, like Juventus. So we know how big a discrepancy is there. Yes, the table will lie and say we were very close and yada yada yada. However, we know that there's so many deficiencies on the team. I mean, you look up at Romagnoli, who's supposed to be our captain, one of our best players, laid a big egg against Betis, and performances like that, you don't expect from a top four team to have big deficiencies in defensive laps like that. Donnarumma, falling down all the time, and it's very, very symptomatic of how Serie A is right now. And it's top heavy, but there's a lot of bad teams in it right now. Yes, we got a lot of goals. I love it, but there's also you can hide a lot of stuff because of just one or two good performances, and everyone else is just canceling each other out.
And
Yeah.
and Steve, before we get into the presidential points, we're gonna get into the game there. The 4-4-2. Now, that's not saying that it's the next coming of Christ, but
The 4-4-2. It only took us 10 weeks to get to it.
but is this another proof that we need an Ibrahimovic come January?
We need another striker, that's for sure. I started to look at social media when they said he's gonna start a 4-4-2, and then I said, you know what? I was watching the game, looking at my phone, social media. Oh, the 4-4-2 is not gonna work. People, we've played it for exactly 20 minutes.
Seriously.
How can we say that it's not gonna work? How can we say? And in those 20 minutes, we actually scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken. Probably even let in a goal. I don't even remember the times anymore. We'll get into them after. But the 4-4-2 formation football takes time. Don't tell me he decided, oh, you know what? Let's move to a 4-4-2. Because that's probably what happened. He said, I need to, Steve said it, play Cutrone and Higuain at the same time.
Like we did against Olympiacos, if anybody forgot, right? When
Yeah.
he brought him in and we scored those 3 goals, it was
Exactly.
a 4-4-2.
4-4-2. But not only that, it takes time. It takes practice. He has to plan for that. I don't think he had enough time to plan for that. I was disappointed that he didn't try it against Real Betis, to be very honest, Joe. Just to go back to Real Betis, another thing that freaked me out is there's certain players that against Inter did not show up in one of the biggest games for Milan, right? Against Inter, the derby. Suso didn't show up. Hakan didn't show up. Bonaventura didn't show up. You kind of need to send a message. If you're Gattuso and you're not the tactical manager that we want you to be, but you are the man manager, at a certain point you need to take control of this dressing room. And I tweeted it out multiple times. Someone had to pay the price. Someone in that game had to make a statement. No, you're not gonna play.
It might have hurt, but in the end...
Might have hurt, but in the end, even against Sampdoria, after Betis, we had another situation where still people that didn't perform were still on the field. Unfortunately, in the end, it worked out for us. But that's not the message that the man manager has to pass to his team. He has to take control.
Exactly, and against the top 5-6 team, a game like that, we're not winning. We're not coming back and winning 3-2, right? We're going to take that in consideration as well. Steve, you got the presidential points open over there.
Yes, okay, relax.
Hey, what's with all this anima? You're still mad at us since
I'm
last
mad.
Thursday.
There's rage here, Richard. There's rage.
All right, get ready, Richard. Get ready. So,
Chapter 1 of presidential points from Marcello. Now, let me put this in perspective for you, Richard. I like to do this with Presidente. I envisioned him thinking about these presidential points. It's still... It's not chilly in Montreal. But it's chilly.
Take us there, Steve.
But Marcello, he likes the wind to flow through his hair. So he has a fantastic 1972 convertible Corvette, which he rides around. Of course, it's mint green. He got into that and he said, you know what? I need to give these guys something. I need to give them some presidential points with chapters.
With the brown leather interior, with the
Of
mahogany wood finish.
100. And you know what? His shift stick, because this is shift, is like an 8-ball. Okay? So he's driving around and the wind is flowing in his hair, minus 12 here in Montreal.
Ricky Poveri on the radio,
Exactly.
on the tape deck.
Yeah. Or the national, the commemorative song for Italy 1990. Remember that one?
Notte magiche.
Notte
Notte
magiche.
That's what he's listening. And as he's driving,
As he's driving, he comes up with this one, Richard. Chapter 1, Gattuso's fascination with the mezzala.
you forgot that most of our listeners don't speak Italian,
No,
right? Okay.
no. Gattuso often talks about the mezzala and how important that position is in his tactics. After losing to Inter and Betis, Gattuso said, "It's 2 games, I don't see the outside mids go deep on the attack." Yesterday, he said the following after the win over Sampdoria. "We played a 4-4-2, but Suso and Laxal often played like a mezzala, especially when we didn't have the ball." Question. This is to you, Richard. Did Milan win because of the change of formation, although Gattuso admitted it wasn't the classic 4-4-2? Or do you feel it was more a testament of the players grinding out a victory and simply wanting to win more than Sampdoria?
First off, on these presidential points, we're talking about the mezzala here. He's also going to talk about the trequartista and the mediano, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's probably going to go through. He's going to probably go through all the tactical
Yeah,
positions.
probably.
And also, before we get into the point, I'm here on today's show to prove that the ratings on the show will be much better than when it was when Frank was on here. So we can compare it afterwards, but we'll see how it goes.
Don't say it out loud. We know.
Obviously, Richard, they're going to be better. Frank, Frank, we tried to pump him up a bit there, so we don't have to do the same thing with you.
To answer the question, I don't think it's slightly because of the formation and slightly because of grinding out, but that's kind of cheating, right? I'm going to say it's because the insertion of Patrick Cotrone more than anything else is why the team scored. It seems whenever he gets on the pitch, the team seems to react with him in a positive way, and goals always come, right? Higuain, he does what he does, right? But, yes, having Suso in the mezzala role or Lexalt or Chalhanoglu or whoever, it does wonders. But yeah, 4-4-2, we knew that, a lot of people thought that once you get Cotrone out there with Higuain, good things would happen. We've seen the interplay with them in the few moments we've had this season is really well, right? They hook up all the time. You don't think two players who play very similarly would have that kind of interaction with each other, and they kind of feed off each other. They set each other up. They both have great goals with assists from each other. So I think more than anything else, not the mezzala or anything else or formation, it's the insertion of Patrick Cotrone, which has helped made this team better as far as scoring, because they've always lacked that clinical finish throughout the first 8-9 games of this season, and having two strikers who are poachers on the pitch at the same time will increase your chances of scoring goals dramatically, I think.
And if we have to allow 2 goals a game, Steve, I prefer having 2 strikers so we could score 3.
No, exactly. For me, the 4-4-2, I wanted them to go to this formation, and really, exactly like you, Richard, my goal was to have Higuain and Cotrone play together. Everybody else needs to understand that these 2 guys are going to be the ones who are going to score the majority of our goals. If that's not the case, we have a huge problem. Another thing with the 4-4-2, I thought that we would be able to protect protect Bilia a bit more with 4 in the midfield.
Didn't have a great game, Bilia.
No, didn't have a great game, but you know what? He did what he had to do. The guy's been worked. He shouldn't have played against Betis. He played.
Yeah, that I didn't get.
He did. Gattuso risked injury with that. He played. He played a derby where he was on one leg. Now he shows up against Sampdoria. In the midfield, I found that he was protected with Kessie and Suso and Laxal. On ESPN, I watched it on ESPN. The game was televised live in glorious HD on ESPN, and there was Bonetti on with the other gentleman who brought up a fantastic point. Gattuso fielded on that left-hand side 2 identical players, Ricardo Rodriguez and Laxal. They totally canceled themselves out. For some magical reason, Sampdoria decided, you know what? We're going to play everything on the right-hand side.
Which they did.
and they destroyed us on the right hand side. Imagine if they would have played everything on the left hand side.
But did you notice though that they, even though they played a lot on the right hand side, they left so much space to Suso, and he was having a field day that day. I don't understand
agree.
how they haven't.
I agree. The big thing, the big story, the big thing on social media. Richard, correct me if I'm wrong. Sampdoria, up until the game against Milan, let in 4 goals. They let in 3 against the Milan side. For some reason, I think, this is my personal opinion, Milan was so dysfunctional in the 4-4-2 that I think we made them rethink their own game plan.
We made chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Almost, yeah,
Right.
because Sampdoria didn't look like the team that beat Napoli. Didn't look like a team who only allowed 4 goals.
No.
They looked wide open, and I think they were so wide, so stretched because we were so stretched. Saponara decided that he was going to bring his A game,
Yeah, obviously.
obviously against Milan.
And then we have tier the idiots. Oh, look at all these ex-Milan. Well, what did he do? Saponara in the last 5-6 years, anyways.
No.
Those idiots at the bar, but
No,
anyways.
but I think the 4-4-2 with proper planning, with proper practices, I think the 4-4-2 is going to work. But we cannot let in 2 goals every game.
No, 100%.
And I don't think, sorry to cut you off,
No.
I don't think that those 2 goals that we let in are because of the 4-4-2. They're goals that we traditionally let in because we have a lapse in concentration.
Yeah.
The goal by Saponara, per la pucchiacca tesorata, we need Donnarumma to make a save.
Yeah.
We need him to make a save. I don't care that he's 19. I don't care that he's the national team goaler. That shot needs to be saved.
That's why you're wearing a big fat
Yes.
egg.
I'm dressed as a big fat egg because of Donnarumma, because that's what he laid on the first goal.
On the side.
We took the lead after 17 minutes and had all the momentum. They mustered up some kind of counterattack, which led us to Saponara magically turning on and becoming Messi for 2.2 seconds, and took a shot. It's a shot, guys. You know, I heard, those are hard shots to save. He's a goddamn left-handed keeper diving to the left-hand side. He's got to get that paw on the ball, and that has to go out for a corner kick, and it's over. Him letting that in killed the momentum.
I don't quite get
It
Elo's
killed.
goal. It was all in defense, but
Yeah.
the first one.
First
was,
goal, we need this guy. We've said it multiple times. We need Donnarumma to make a save, some sort of save in the key moments
When
of the
we
game.
needed the most.
When we needed the most. That, I think that would have changed the game completely.
Point.
The whole play was calamitous, really, because you let 76-year-old Fabio Quagliarella run up the pitch with the ball untouched, and then he lays out a perfect pass to Saponara, who somehow gets a shot on goal. And like you said, Donnarumma should save that. 10 times out of 10, he should save that.
Yeah.
He's done it before. I think it's now that Mr. Moneyman, he doesn't save anything anymore. And as a shining example of why he lays the eggs all the time, it's not the same Donnarumma that we've seen before.
No.
Let's take it over to point number 2. Sergio Ramos helps Gattuso, writes the Presidente. Gattuso is fully aware of the constant pressure to win and understands his job is in jeopardy when he doesn't. Despite this, he didn't hide the fact that his constant talk about him and can affect the team. After beating Madrid took in El Clasico, Sergio Ramos said the following regarding rumors of Conte joining Madrid, clearly hinting he is not a fan of the former Azzurri coach.
Yeah, because
But who is Sergio Ramos?
Because Presidente has a direct line to Sergio Ramos.
Oh, okay, he called him.
Yeah, direct
okay.
line.
So I'm sure that Florentino Perez is gonna go according to Sergio Ramos's opinion on who to hire. Anyways, respect is earned, not imposed. Managing a locker room is more important than tactics. Where is he getting this, Ramos? Was he ever coached by Conte?
I don't know, but after losing 5-1, there's not much you can say.
Yeah. So, do you agree with Ramos? Can Gattuso's people skills overcome his tactical weaknesses to bring out the best in his players and turn Milan into a contender? By the time you
that's the fine print. There's also fine print in the
read the fine print.
Read the fine print, Richard, where he writes in red to catch our attention. By the time we read this email, Conte might be coach of Real Madrid. Please update all the listeners. Listeners, while we're doing this podcast, Marcello, they know before we know that if he's going to be the coach. We know that the Real Madrid coach, whatever his name is, who had the really shit year. Let me tell you that much. Because he was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the coach of the Spain national
They
team.
told him to get out.
They told him get out because he signed with Real Madrid while he was in the goddamn tournament. He couldn't wait. And now he lays a big fat egg with Real Madrid and he loses 5-1.
He's been laying a lot of fat eggs.
A lot of fat eggs. The guy's got a chicken farm or something. And he loses 5-1 in the Clásico as the last time that he's going to ever step in the Bernabeu. That's for sure.
And I was reading that Conte, it's off, that they might go get Rafa Benitez or who else? It was like, I don't know what the hell they were talking about. But, okay, back to this question. Do you think that do you think that Gattuso's people skills will overcome his technical weaknesses to bring out the best of his players?
Is El Presidente a closet Real Madrid fan? It's a very in-depth question about Real Madrid.
The president's all over the place.
I don't necessarily agree with Ramos. While I do believe being like a rah-rah coach like Gattuso is, it does bring out the best in players at times. I think you still need a tactical astuteness to succeed in football. If you look around of all European football or all around the world, the best managers and most successful managers are the tactical geniuses, right? How many of them can you say are they're the rah-rah guys and they're the ones winning, right? It doesn't happen. Zidane even, he has a tactical genius behind him. I think Gattuso and his man management can get them only so far. Eventually, once you play the teams like Juventus and Napoli, you need to be tactically superior to your opponent, or at least equal to them. Otherwise, you're going to get run out of the room. We saw what happened in the Coppa Italia final last year, right? And it's no coincidence. You need to have, I'm not going to discredit Gattuso completely because he's shown this year that he's gotten better with tactics, with the pressing he's done. It has caused teams like Roma and Napoli some discomfort. That's what led to goals. But he still needs to get some tactics behind him, and that's what's really the big difference between us and the other teams is the tactics. They just tear us apart. We saw what Betis did to us on Thursday, right? And then, for that little disclaimer that El Presidente gave us, I hate to tell him, but like you just said, Conte, turned down the Madrid job. I don't know if it's because of what Ramos said or maybe he doesn't feel like he can win the room, but I think him going to Real Madrid really is a good and bad for Milanisti everywhere, and even the team. It keeps Gattuso, staying strong and having to win the games, forcing him to do his best, the team as well. However, if he does continue to fail in the big games, well, at least Conte is there, and he may be the answer for Milan. Imagine another manager with tactical astuteness like Conte to be in the league with Allegri and Ancelotti and the other ones that are in the league. So I just think Ramos is a little bit off on this one.
And in the end, guys, can we all agree that if the change has to come, don't freaking give us Donadoni. It would be a dollar, as Tommy said at the bar, $1 for 3 quarters, not even 4. If we have to change, and if it comes to that, please give us a guy like Conte. That's the way I see it from over there. So, chapter 3, Steve. We polled our followers on Twitter and asked them the following question after the 2 losses. What are you more upset with the situation we are in, the players or the coach? 56% said the players, 44% said the coach. So, first question to you, Steve. Putting aside the politically correct answer, a bit of both, you win as a team, you lose as a team, who were you upset with more?
I have to be upset with the coach.
You're going with Coach Richard. Would you say coach or players?
I am going to also say Gattuso.
And
slightly ahead of Donnarumma.
I'm gonna go with the coach as well as there. Would you like to elaborate, Mr. Polillo?
I'm just angry with the coach, to be very honest with you, because I don't know. The derby bothered me. After 2 weeks of preparation, he fielded a team that didn't look like was very interested in playing that game. Being someone not only the coach at this time, but also someone who played in that game, knowing how much that means to the fans. For his team to show up like that, there has to be another problem. Either lack of preparation, decided to have this defensive mindset, and he's proven it. Other podcasts have said the same thing. When he plays the big teams, he cocoons, he gets into his shell for some reason, and doesn't want to play. Uh, then again, Real Betis. Real Betis, to be very honest, I thought that he after the derby he would go and he would probably do something a la Steve and break the table at
Maybe
the
he
San
did.
Siro. Maybe he did, but whatever he broke, that message wasn't passed either because they laid another egg. I'm saying a lot of eggs because I'm wearing the egg.
Yeah.
They shit the bed against Betis, to be very honest, because it was worse than the derby. So yes, the players. I get the players, and that's something that frustrates me. Again, the same thing like Milan walking into the San Siro against a team like Real Betis and automatically thinking that we're gonna win. We don't have the players that we had before.
No.
Let's face it, people. If you're looking at Hakan to be the next Seedorf down that side, or you're looking at Suso to be the next coming of Kaká, it's not gonna happen, guys. Those are dime a dozen players. Those are 40 class. On this team, I hate to break it to everybody, there is no 40 class.
No, there's absolutely no.
There's absolutely no.
Higuain is a 40 class.
I'll get. For me, 40 class, world class. Those are special things for me. Zidane is world class. Baggio's world class. Totti's world class. It's gonna take something from Higuain. The Scudetto that he's winning, he won with Juve because they were the best team. Tell me what I won the Scudetto with Napoli, I would have given him the 40
That's
class.
a fair point. Yeah, but in the
going over to the strongest team and winning 2 Scudettos in a row, if I would have played on Juve, I would have won a Scudetto too. Padoin won a fucking goddamn Scudetto.
Il talismano, Paduin. In the end, right? Because while we said coach, and I'll let you put in your 2 cents, is like after a couple of games that you're trying the same thing over and over again. Now, what is the true definition of insanity? Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So yeah, I put that on the coach because he didn't put anything to shake it up and just to, like you were saying, Steve, bench a player,
send a message,
or send a message. He did it with Kalinic last year. Oh, you're not running enough. Okay, you're not even dressing. You're not even so. You said the coach as well, Richard. If you like to put in your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said a lot. You guys said most of my points, but it's to continue on that. He's not getting it right defensively. Milan is leaking in goals left and right. It seems like 2 goals a game they're giving up. Poor substitutions by Gattuso. At times he gets it right, but most of the time you're bringing in Borini for what? We've seen Montalivo play. Poor starting 11 and poor rotation. Some of these games you think when there's perfect time for a rotation and he doesn't do it. Or sometimes he starts a starting 11 and you're like, what the heck is he smoking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest one for me that does it is the fear in the big games. And we saw that in the derby, right? It instead of attacking Inter like Milan has done throughout its history, he sits back. As Nima said, the last 3 games against Inter, he just sits back and tries to react, and that's not how you play in those games. And it's the big games where you make your name as a head coach or lose your name. And Gattuso's losing his name because he's basically hiding, trying to wait out a 0-0 game and maybe get a shot that he'll get a surprise score at the end. It's a lot from him, and it's really pissing me off. It's not the Milan that I grew up watching.
No, exactly. And now, for sure, Nima's he's gonna listen to this. He's gonna be all proud that someone else mentioned him on the show.
What?
Nima. He just gets free shots every time, Nima.
But why do we keep on putting him
It's
over?
always the snake.
He sends us
He
nice
has his
messages.
own podcast. Yeah, for sure. But he has his own podcast.
But we can't say nice things about him.
Not all the
podcast.
time. Man.
No.
It's enough.
He's a Swedish
Come on.
snake, and I told him that's his wrestling name if he goes into wrestling. The Swedish snake.
Swedish berry. Swedish berry.
Or like the Swedish chef on.
Yeah.
On
Borgi.
Point number 4.
Chapter 4.
Is this a skippable one, or do we have to talk about it?
No, we skipped already a bit of his other point.
Oh
number
yeah,
3.
it's true. So in an interview with Milan TV, ex-Milan goalkeeper Biatti had this to say about Donnarumma when asked if he is trying too hard to become a modern goalkeeper, and if that is affecting his play. What, you have a problem with that question?
Oh, come on.
I asked you if you wanted to skip it. The new generation of goalkeepers are asked to learn to dribble and search for the open spaces to pass. I used to just boot it out. Yes, and that's what we want back because Donnarumma can't play.
Because he can't play with his feet.
Perhaps he gets disoriented in
yeah.
front of goal in distances.
Vertigo.
And his timing may be off. Gigi has the advantage of being young. He changed his work methodology.
Again, the being young. Again, the being young. Again, the being
Okay,
young.
man, you're gonna break our setup over here. Question. I'll let you answer, Steve. Can this explain why Donnarumma hasn't gotten a clean sheet yet? Is he trying to do too much and consequently lose his concentration?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. This young man is a mystery, to be very honest with you. He suits up at 16 years old. He makes miraculous saves, looks fundamentally sound, but can't play the ball at his feet. You're telling me that after we try to teach him to play with the ball at his feet, magically this is disorienting him so that he cannot be technically sound.
Just boot it out if you can't.
Unfortunately, Milan cannot boot it out because
That's true.
We'll lose the ball.
It's a catch-22.
Milan is a possession team. My question to Abbiati, who should ask this question to Donnarumma, for the first 15 years of your life, didn't you play with the ball at your feet? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. The keeper position is a hard position. Don't tell me the hardest part of the keeper position is to play with the ball at your feet.
No, it just seems like even when Reina had it at his feet, it's like you don't feel stressed out
He
when
looks
he has
up,
it.
it's like he has two left feet.
Donnarumma is just like, what is he gonna do?
He looks scared. But is that something that maybe they're not working on in practice? I don't know. Is it a concentration thing? I don't know. I'll bring in a little bit of North American sports ideology here. Is he doing too many commercials? I don't have Italian TV. The Italian Head and Shoulders. I don't know what that could be called. Is he doing commercials for brioche? Because for sure, I need brioche when I need to watch that game.
Yeah.
Because the acid, the acid, the heartburn, that it goes up and down my esophagus into my throat.
And you see, this is why we put it back on YouTube, Steve, so people could see you acting exactly the way you
Yeah,
act
but
when you prep.
this is the podcast, guys. I'm telling you, it would have been the same. Camera or no camera, it would have been the same.
Exactly.
The brioche that I would need for the achito that comes into my body when I see him with the ball at his feet. It's unbelievable.
What do you think, Richard? Do you think he's trying too hard, or is he just...
We need him to try harder, goddammit. He could have made that save against Saponara. It's Saponara.
I know. Okay.
It wasn't a
Can you let him
blistering
answer the
shot.
poor
Yeah,
guy?
go.
Okay. Rich.
Well, I'm in agreement with him. Maybe not as vocal as he is, but I don't think this explains his poor performance. Honestly, I think when that scumbag Mino Raiola held Milan ransom for Donnarumma's contract, I think Gigio hasn't been the same since. The ill feeling from the Curva Sud maybe didn't sit well with him, and now he's a big money man. His hunger is gone. And it doesn't seem to attack the ball the same way as he did before when it's in the air or when it's on the ground like that for Saponara's shot. He's not the same player as he was before, and I don't know what it is. And the only thing I can really think of is his performance started going down once he made the money. We've seen this in other sports, and like the NFL here in the United States. Some guys get the big money contract, and they're terrible after that. It's kind of looking like it's the same situation here. Granted, it could be a dip in form because he's 19 and maybe he getting a little burned out. I don't know, but all signs to me seem to be pointing that he's made some money. He's a little bit more comfortable now. He can live the luxurious life, and so maybe he's not concentrating as much as he should be in his in practice or whatever. And it's suffering in the games, and it's I gotta blame Mino Raiola for that.
So it makes a lot of sense. And how many games? And I'm not saying they haven't
Well,
happened.
we can't.
But that first year, how many games did he save us from those 1-0 wins?
I understand, guys. I understand the big money contract. I understand the Mino Raiola thing. But the guy's got to play.
Absolutely.
He's got to perform. Mino Raiola is not a Nets.
It doesn't make no, but what I'm trying to get, like, it does. We're not saying it's true, but yeah, it's since his whole speaking.
So
he didn't speak.
No, but that's
and that
his
was
fault.
that was, and that's why I have no pity for the guy, and that's why I said if that to sell him myself, because when you let your manager speak for you, and you don't even come out and say anything, other reinforcing yourself or whatever, and now yes, it's been since then that he hasn't been top par, but in the end, like you're saying, Steve, after 2-3 years. How many practice do you need with the ball at your feet?
I don't know, but I would. You know what? I think we need to let it go.
And just accept the fact that
don't
don't give him the ball.
Yeah, or as least as possible, to be very honest with you. But unfortunately, in a possession game, the goalie is a very important piece, and he's gonna get the ball at his feet.
All those years.
Who?
Buffon survived all those years without playing the ball at his feet. I mean, it's a trend now. A lot of goaltenders are playing with their feet, but there are several goaltenders out there who can't play with their feet. They just got to find a way around it and not pass it back to them. Watch, you can play possession without giving it to the goalie.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And Juventus is possession, but they're much more positive than Milan. Never did they ever go back to Buffon with any negative passes. We seem to be going negatively almost 50% of the time. 50%. Yeah, 50% of the time we think that the negative pass is the best pass. Unfortunately, it's gonna kill us. And like we saw in the final third, we have no more ideas.
Exactly. So I think we're all in agreement. Stop giving back the ball to Donnarumma.
Hold on. He's going to chapter 5.
Yeah.
He's talking about Genoa in the lineup. I'm not finished with Sampdoria.
You're not finished with okay,
No.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Richard. It's not a presidential point.
You're doing a
I'm doing
curveball.
VP.
Just the way they did it to us.
Yeah. So I want to bring this conversation out, okay? Because I watched the Sampdoria game. Could it be that for how dysfunctional this Milan is, that our best player on Sunday was also our worst player?
How so?
I'll explain to you. Suso,
Yes.
assist,
Mm-hmm.
goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? But besides that, guys, he was terrible in the final third. We were getting destroyed defensively on that right-hand side. Calabria was getting destroyed. It's a big problem. It's a big problem because we're masked by the 7 assists, 3 goals,
Top assist man in Europe.
top assist man in Europe. But I think on Sunday, and people, you can tweet at us all you want. This is just my personal opinion. Our best player that day was also our worst player that day.
Yeah,
If it's against, sorry Richard, if it's against another team other than Sampdoria, who for some reason on Sunday decided to give us an early Christmas gift and not play their traditional formation, that result is not happening on Sunday.
Or how is it that maybe when we were looking to close the game, was Suso trying to do too much because nobody else was coming to
False.
okay.
False.
All right.
He had a counterattack with a Spaniard, with his Spaniard compadre,
Yeah, he decided not to.
Castillejo, and he gave a shit ass ball on a counterattack. It was almost as bad as the counterattack from Lord Bakayokoko.
Which I forgot to ask you. Did you see he was part of the press conference before the game?
Yeah,
On
it's good because they keep him in the press box. They tell him the game is not playing so that he cannot come in as a sub. But Richard, correct me if I'm wrong. To close the game on Sunday, Sampdoria, he didn't do us any favors in the final third. His role, someone needs to tell Suso, we understand you're a one-trick pony. I get it. We understand that you do it very well. Your job, if you're a mezzala, is to get the ball to Higuain and Coutron. The shots, I get them. I get changing it up a bit. But your job as a mezzala, I want you with 17 assists, 20 assists. At the end of the year, if you finish with 3 goals and you have 20 assists, that means 20 people scored. 20 other people. Because people are going to catch on to you, Suso. They've caught on to you. Again, Sampdoria, early Christmas gift. I don't understand. We've seen Juve neutralize him. We've seen Inter neutralize him. People can easily, tactically, phase him out of the game. Completely. What he needs to give us back is getting Higuain and Cutrone. If we stick with the 4-4-2, please, per l'amor di Dio, Gattuso, stay with the 4-4-2.
Or maybe sub him out when he's finished with his with all his
That's
tricks.
That's another thing for Gattuso sub. I didn't understand the subs against
He
Sampdoria.
scored and he assisted. Okay, come on.
I didn't understand. Richard, correct me if I'm wrong on the Suso thing, and please fill me in if you had any other idea what Gattuso was trying to do on his substitution.
No, I feel you totally on the Suso thing, but I'm gonna mention a name that the same things have been said about him. Arjen Robben, right? He's obviously world class compared to Suzo. However, the same thing's been said about him. He's a one-trick pony. He's selfish. He causes a lot of turnovers. He doesn't play defense. He causes the offense to slack sometimes too. But the reason he is in the lineup, Arjen Robben was for years, and now Suzo is because we're hoping that one magic moment is going to produce a goal or assist or something. And so far he has, for the most part. But absolutely, he can be the best player in the game and the worst player in the game because, like I said, a goal and assist, great. But he's also turning the ball over, not sloppy passes, not backtracking, not attacking the ball like he should. So he can certainly be the best and worst player. And like I said, he's like an Arjen Robben who's done that before. So I'm agreeing with you 100%.
Yeah, multiple comparisons. You're not the first to bring in Arjen Robben on when we talk about Suso. For me, the only difference that I see with Robben and Suso is I think Robben played a bit more provider. He is a one-trick pony. We know that he can go on his left foot, and that's pretty much the only.
At the beginning of the years, he was more provider. At the end of the years, he seemed to be more selfish. It seemed to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, that's true. I know near the even now, I just find that as the difference between the two. But
Sure,
yes,
sure.
simply the left foot. You're not gonna get anything on the right foot. If he goes on the right foot, it's probably gonna go out for a goal kick. But yeah, I agree, Robin. For me, that was something that I took away from the Sampdoria game, and I don't write notes. It just stays with me, and it stayed with me for 3 days. For my opinion, he was our best player that day, but he was also our worst player.
Makes a lot of sense the way you bring it up from over there, and yeah, definitely I'm rethinking about the game, especially that counter attack, and it was just completely a balls to the wall. So now can we take it to our last
Go
presidential
to
point?
number 5.
Injury update and Genoa lineup. The good news is that Conte will start playing with the Primavera. Was offset by the bad news of Milan getting hit with the injury bug. So Caldara will be out 2 months with a ligament injury. How did this guy play for Italy and a friendly, but he can't play with us and now he's injured again? Anyways, Calabria will likely miss 3 weeks with a sprained ankle. I will say that's probably a blessing in disguise for Calabria because he's been doing very bad in the last couple of games, maybe month or so. Bonaventura will miss 1 or 2 more games due to inflammation of his knee. Çalhanoğlu is recovering and only played 10 minutes. Nicola Grottaglie, ex-Milan defender, weighed in on Milan's current situation with their roster and having good depth. It's not enough to buy top players. You need to determine which players can play together. You need equilibrium. Madonna Grottaglie, you're a smart man, huh? Nah. Question, assuming Gattuso will stick with the 4-4-2 for Wednesday's game against Genoa, who would you be in your start 11 and why? You're gonna go with Musacchio and Romagnoli for sure again. Off your wings, you're gonna go with put Laxalt back there. He can play right back, no?
Yeah, because I don't want to suit him up on the same side as Ricardo Rodriguez again. That's for sure.
So we'll do that, and then in midfield, Bakayoko for sure. Bakayoko, Billy, and Kessie.
Yeah, for sure. That's all we need. That's all we need. Kill me now.
What do you? Any? How about this? Any surprises in your lineup on Wednesday, Richard?
I put Abate in there.
Abate. I'd put Bertolacci instead of Abate, even in that bad position. You'd put Abate?
You know. I agree with Richard. He's gonna put in Abate there.
I know he's gonna put Abate. Yeah. So Abate and Rodriguez.
That's who's gonna be out there.
Yeah.
I would. You know what? I know he's gonna put Abate to replace Calabria. I personally would. I agree with Vince. I would try Laxalt at right back.
Yeah.
And I think he would help out Suso because I don't think that they're the same player, and we need legs on that side because if someone saw the Sampdoria game and Genoa and Sampdoria from the same city, hopefully they exchange some notes. You're gonna see they're gonna come down that side, and I think to replace Laxalt, I would start Castillejo.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would put Castillejo.
And I would keep Higuain and Cutrone on. Now,
Absolutely.
now, guys, please, I'm looking at the subs, okay? I have nothing against Hakan. I want the guy to succeed.
Of course.
He came in for 10 minutes and he looked like he lost his dog. He looked depressed.
He's still injured, I heard.
He was pissed. But that's another thing. If you tell me he's still injured, why the hell would you put him into that game? Why would you
Ask
put him
that
into
too,
that
so-
Sampdoria game? At the sub happened, and sorry,
Borini, you gotta put in Borini for that matter.
YouTubers, I'm just looking at my phone for the lineup, so I apologize. It's not that I'm looking at the camera. I know you guys want to see my face, but the change. Abate had to take in Calabria because he was hurt. Castillejo for Cotrone. I did not like that change.
He put him as he went back to the 4-3-3 at that. With
At
the
that
false
point,
nine.
he said that he wanted to go back to
At
the
that
4-3-3.
point, you would have put in Castillejo for Suso.
That's
you
what I
gave
think.
you gave us a goal. You assisted on
I
a
agree.
beautiful. At that point, you know what? Okay,
Mail
come
it
and
in.
sit down and let's get those
Let's
legs
get it
ready
down
for Genoa.
And then the Diego Laxal for Hakan at the 89th minute.
Position for position.
Position for position, I get it. But if he's injured at the 89th minute, keep Laxal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has legs.
Yeah, and he almost scored on that one there. But
The
yes.
most awkward missed goal I have
Oh,
seen in my
it
life.
just didn't make any sense on that one there. But
For you, Richard, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I mean,
Of the changes, just the
Uh,
changes. Hakan, was there any sense bringing him in for the last 10 minutes?
absolutely not. I mean, you're just if he is injured, like you said, you're just gonna further risk further injury with him. And so, why do you bring him on? Are you afraid of Barini or whoever else you can bring on? I don't know. So
you could have brought in
You
Borini.
could have brought in Barini for the last 10 minutes. I have no problem
But
with that to
people
close the
want to
game.
make fun. People want to make fun of Borini, but that if you need him for those 15, 20 minutes, those
That's what
legs,
he's for.
That's what he's there
But
for.
that's what he's for. We don't need him to start at right back.
No,
We need him for those final 15, 20 minutes.
he's a natural winger.
Exactly.
So from there,
I didn't get that, and I found Frank to look very tired, Kessie, near the end.
Frank, the last couple of games, a lot
very
of brain
sloppy,
farts. Huh?
Very sloppy.
Yeah.
First touch has been really letting him down. I'm surprised. Just
he's played too much.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's playing too much. Exactly that. They have to find a way to either get a beast Kessie. Don't you dare say his name.
What? I didn't say
Don't
anything.
you? I know you're looking at me. Don't you dare say his
I
name.
didn't say anything.
Don't you dare.
I was gonna say Bertolacci.
or find a formation who can help him out a bit, because I'm afraid that he's gonna get injured. To be very honest, Joe, and
And if
injury
we-
is not helping us right here. And I know I tweeted it out the other day. I can't understand how Conti and Caldara played almost every game for Atalanta.
They come over here.
And never did we see any mention of any knee problem or any muscular issue. As soon as they step on Milanello ground, baba boom, baba bing.
That's all.
One guy we lost him for 276 days, the president calculated. And the other guy now, Caldara, who was our other gem that we took from Juve, I haven't seen him take the field or because of performance or because of injury. It's a bit alarming.
I will say one thing, guys, before we finish this off. Who would I put this Sunday? You want to mix it up? Put in Pepe Reina and Nets and send a message. I don't see a problem with putting Pepe Reina there on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he's going to be playing the
I
week
agree.
after, the
Yeah.
week after against, you put in Reina on Wednesday, Donnarumma on Sunday against Udinese, and then we play Real Betis again the Thursday after. So
Yeah.
you know what? Go back and back and back, and Reina has not played badly. That would be my surprise thing, and just to shake things up a little
Shake
bit.
it up. Shake it up.
I like it.
Thank you very much. So before we let you go, Mr. Richard, last time to plug yourself, put yourself over, and once again we do want to thank you for spending like almost an hour with
Yeah.
us. This is like we're sit down kind of lanes.
Yeah, we went longer than with Frank there because Frank was putting us to sleep at a certain point.
So
Frankie!
so
Syria sit down has an effect on people. We just keep dragging it out.
that's when you get.
Frankie, I love you. I listen to you in the car. I can have an accident every once in a while, but it's okay.
It's all good. So just give us again your plugins for the Twitter machine, the Instagram Tigamajiggy, wherever we can find the Syria Sit Down and where we can listen.
Well, thank you guys both for having me on. It was a lot of fun. You can find me on all those social media places at R_KHARMAN, as well as you can find the podcast at Serie A Sit Down, both on Twitter, the Twitter machine, and the Instagram Thingamajiggy. As well as if you look up, any iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere, just look up Serie A Sit Down, you'll find us there. And also on the YouTube, we're not as good as you guys, but we're trying. We're trying to branch out a little bit. So.
Very flattering. Thank you very much. Even though we got horrible lighting, don't worry. Like I said, we're not rival podcasts. We're all here for good fun. And thank you for having us. About a month ago, and thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Ciao, ciao.
We're gonna cut. We're gonna edit this stuff out there. So yeah, thanks a lot, Richard. Sorry if it took a bit longer than usual there, but we'll
blame it on my kids.
Thank you.
Blame it on the kids, and
Baño.
we'll send you all the information once we get online tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll tag you and we'll tag Frank. Frank, he won't retweet because he wasn't on the show, but
He's gonna take a bath. All right, buddy. Have a good night.
Ciao.
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 Richard. Carmen, Oliver Bierhoff.
Richard Carmen.
Carmen, I'll go just in
2
case there
first
was...
names. Richard Carmen.
I forgot to mention, because now people would have listened to by now. That's a fantastic new intro we have.
Oh, yes.
With the beautiful voice of... what are you doing?
Fist bumping.
Oh. With the beautiful voice, or the other min, Mario. Why?
We wanted to do a contest to guess the voice.
Really?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be too much of a contest. Everybody would have figured that out.
No one knows Mario.
It's true. Well, anyways.
It's Mario.
So, guys, thanks again to Richard for joining us from Serie A Sit Down. Check it out. It's more of a long-form podcast, but always interesting things to talk about. There's so many out there to that discuss Serie A. Guys, so, we're going to leave you off with this. Let's put it Wednesday, right? Let's get these 3 points. Let's put ourselves, and again, let's not hide the fact, right, that we
might be 4th place without ever holding a clean sheet.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. But don't hide the fact that we might be in 4th, that we still have a lot of.
We have a lot of holes, a lot of gaps. People.
A lot of work.
A lot of holes, a lot of gaps.
So, I hope you enjoyed the YouTube. We're gonna be posting it soon. I love this, non-professional kind of thing. Steve, with the, you want to get up and just show everybody while you're at it?
I'm not gonna get up.
Why not? You can see the whole costume. There we go. You see? Beautiful. Comunque sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao.